One thing for candidates to have an economic campaign platform, but it's quite another thing to have a recession on your hands if you win the election. Here is what the candidates have to say about their take on the economy. Roll it.
My vision of an opportunity economy is one where everyone can compete and have a real chance to succeed. So I want to see 25 million new small business applications by the end of my first term. Let us be clear. Billionaires and big corporations must pay their fair share in taxes.
We have an economy in crisis under the radical policies of my former opponent, Joe Biden, and my new opponent, Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris wants to sacrifice our wealth, kill the economy, and drive jobs overseas to punish businesses.
So let's get the read from our all-star panel. And that phrase is thrown around a lot, but these guys are the best of the best. There's no question about it, to discuss the state of the economy and consumer trends. Joanne, Trattoria owner Joe Germanotta, and Apple Metro chairman and CEO Zane Tankel are here.
Thank you,
gentlemen. What a pleasure. You're not only great men in your business life, but I know you both very well. I go to church with Joe and I go to dinner with Zane.
You do.
There you go. All right, Zane, let me start with you. What do you
By
make?
the way, you go to temple with me if you like.
Thank you. I wouldn't mind that at all. You know, of course, we start with the Old Testament in the Catholic Church. You just sold your Applebee franchise. You had how many? 30?
40. Well,
40.
Yeah.
Okay, you had 40 Applebees. That's quite a holding. First of all, are you glad you got out when you did? And secondly, what do you make of this overall economy based on what we saw in the jobs numbers?
Yeah, I'm glad I got out when I did, except I miss the people and I miss the mission, which was to be the best restaurant company we could be. But I'm glad because it's a very, very, iffy economy. We're totally consumer reliant. 69% of the total economy is driven by the consumer. Mm-hmm. So it's showing early on signs of a softening, a weakening. Walmart sales, you've seen, I'm sure, down. Home Depot's down. Credit card debt is through the roof at over $1 trillion. Credit card defaults are. So we're seeing these early on signs, these road signs. Where do you drive your car?
Yeah.
I'd get off and park for a little while.
Now, Joe, you can't get off and park unless you want to sell your business to. Maybe Zane misses the restaurant business.
I just asked him if he wanted to be a partner. No.
But people are still eating out, right? I mean, people still have that post-pandemic push to go out and enjoy themselves. But do you see it slowing down at all?
This was the worst summer that we've ever had. It was 50% off last year.
Oh, man.
All right? I'm seeing more credit card business, as you were mentioning. The credit card business is through the roof. So, and people are buying on borrowed time, as far as I'm concerned. So it's going to end. We're going to hit a wall. All right.
You must have seen other recessions, if in fact what we're going into is a recession. Are there warning signs before, or does it happen quickly? I mean, as I remember, a lot of people were caught off guard by 2008, 2009. Have you seen, are there any warning signs that you've seen other than the 50% loss this summer?
I wasn't in the restaurant business in
okay.
But what I do see is people want more than just dinner. All right, so that's why what we started doing is live entertainment. So we do drag shows, we have bands.
You ever get Lady Gaga in? We should mention that.
She comes in.
She's your daughter.
She does come in from time to time.
That's not a bad draw.
No, she likes to bartend.
Okay, all right. To have your Manhattan made in Manhattan by Lady Gaga is not a bad thing.
She always opens beers and throws the beer bottle, the caps everywhere.
Now, both candidates, both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, have said they're not going to tax tips anymore. First to you, Joe, and then I'll get you. Is that a good thing for the business?
That's fabulous. All right, because if it'll keep down the payroll cost changes, meaning they don't go from $10.65 an hour up to $15 an hour for waiters. All right, let's face it, that ends up ultimately in the menu price.
And for all service workers, Zane, I mean, it's a bonus. First of all, it unites. The thing I hated about the proposed IRS rules on tips that they came out with in 2023 and they had adjustments in 2024. it forced you guys to be the policemen of you were turned into IRS agents, snitches on your own employees. That's a terrible way to run a business when you're at odds with your employees on something like that. But this takes that off the table. That's got to be good news, right?
Sure. But you know what no one's addressing, David, is that this is really double taxation. You leave the tip with after-tax dollars.
Right.
That's true.
I haven't heard anyone say that, and I can't figure out why. Double taxation, I do believe, is illegal.
But it's got to be helpful for the employer.
Without a doubt. It's necessary, in fact, in order to maintain it. But what she's advocating, and others are, that they not count those tips and just raise everybody's minimum wage to an equal.
Why? In God's name? I mean, the point of a tip is to incentivize workers to do better work, right?
Sure. She doesn't understand economics. That's it.
I think that is the key. That was made clear by her idea about price gouging and price controls in the food industry, which always, if you know business, you know that you don't produce if you can't make a profit.
That's
and
right.
if you have price controls on that limit or maybe even have a negative profit, you end up with you'll stop producing. That's why they always lead to shortages. Yeah. She doesn't get these things.
And if I may add, David, how could you know business if you never did a business?
Right, it's true. Very true.
That is true. And Joe, as I said, the last recession came in really quickly, and I'm just wondering if you were doing anything to prepare for this, or has it not come that far? I mean, the numbers we see today were discouraging. They're not yet recessionary, but they were a yellow flag, if not a red one.
What I'm doing at a restaurant level is I'm bringing down the menu, all right, to smaller, lesser cost items, all right, to keep the customers coming because they have less disposable income. All right. Then that also affects how much inventory I have to hold on site. I mean, if you normally hold about $30,000 worth of liquor and wine. I can cut that down. I have better cash flow.
Yeah.
All right. It's really important.
Zane, they're giving me a wrap, but I have to ask you because in addition to the restaurant business, you also had some business in oil.
Yes, sir.
You heard Trump yesterday that the first part of his speech was all about energy. Is that a good thing? Is he on the right track?
Oh yeah, David. That'll certainly deal with this whole soft landing, hard landing if gas prices went down. And, you know, the economy drives everything. It's our strength, it's our military, it's our position in the world. And we tend to get caught up with people working instead of men working on the street signs, right? It's all about the economy.
Well, you know, a lot of people write me notes saying, how could you live in New York? Joe and Zane are two reasons why. I mean, magnificent human beings, great entrepreneurs. You're real heroes to this city. I hope you're better appreciated in the future than you have been over the past couple of years.
Thank you so
much,
much,
Great to see you both.